Did Disney use artificial intelligence to write Strange World? After hearing the controversy surrounding Wish, I asked myself, if it were true that AI was used to write Disney's Wish, could it be possible that Disney's use of AI wasn't potentially just limited to the production of Wish? That brought me to Strange World. It was one of those movies I really wanted to love, but just found it lacking somewhere. Just like the critics whose consensus was that Strange World really wasn't something new in terms of storytelling. I think a lot of that really has to do with how all the characters feel like an amalgamation of formulas that worked in the past. Take the main character, Searcher Clade, for example. He seems to be a cut-and-paste collage of traits from other successful Disney characters, which does not fit his archetype. He has the stubbornness of Marlin from Finding Nemo, the adventurous spirit of Carl Fredricksen from Up, and the protective nature of Bob Parr, Mr. Incredible, from The Incredibles. For those characters, those traits worked well because it was in line with their personal backstories and narrative arcs. But not for Searcher, who is supposed to be a reluctant hero transitioning from a simple farmer to an adventurous explorer. But it is not just that. There's other points to take into consideration, such as writers striking against the use of AI, Disney's massive cost-cutting efforts, and their plummeting stock. These are the reasons I think Disney's Strange World feels like it's written by AI. Let's talk about the plot first. I found Strange World's premise and universe mesmerizing. The film is set in Avalonia, a world on the brink of an energy catastrophe, and follows a family of explorers. The protagonist, Searcher, discovers energy-giving plants that could potentially solve the crisis, leading to a conflict with his adventurous father, Jaeger, who insists on continuing his explorations to find new frontiers, even though the plants could solve all their problems. Now, think of Searcher as Neil deGrasse Tyson, a practical scientist focused on immediate solutions, and Jaeger as Elon Musk, always seeking to push boundaries and find hope elsewhere. The story deals with themes of environmental symbiosis, family dynamics, and much more. Perhaps too much.
Avalonia, we looked at a lot of what people in the, we'll say, 1900s thought the future was going to be like. A lot of flying vehicles, flying cars, and kind of big, wondrous buildings. And then Strange World, it was like, all bets are off. It is like the imagination of the amazing artists at Disney Animation, and just go.
It's a beautiful world, weirdly reminiscent of many other worlds, yet its own odd creation with bizarre connections, almost as if it wasn't thought up by a human being, but something else.
We want them to be entertained. I hope they laugh. I hope they're moved deeply. I hope they're surprised by some of the things that, that we reveal in the film.
I was certainly surprised by the character choices, which brings me back to Searcher Clade with his stubbornness from Marlin, adventurous spirit of Carl from Up, and protective nature of Mr. Incredible. Here's why they fit in their original stories, but not the one of Searcher Clade. Let's start with Marlin. His stubbornness stems from the traumatic loss of his wife and most of his children, driving his overprotective nature and reluctance to let Nemo explore the world. This fits his narrative arc of learning to let go and trust Nemo's ability to handle himself. Carl Fredricksen's adventurous spirit is rooted in his lifelong dream shared with his late wife Ellie to explore Paradise Falls. His journey in Up is about fulfilling that promise and rediscovering the joy of adventure. Bob Parr's protective nature comes from his identity as a superhero and family man, balancing his desire to save the world with his duty to protect his family, fitting his arc of finding that balance. In contrast, Searcher's mix of traits doesn't work with his backstory and arc. As a simple farmer thrust into the role of an explorer, his development should focus on overcoming his reluctance and growing into his new role. However, the borrowed traits feel disjointed and don't align with his narrative journey, making him a confusing and inconsistent character. Traits that would have worked better for him might include a sense of curiosity, a resourceful nature that helps him solve problems on his journey, and a strong moral compass that guides his decisions. It's almost like they asked ChatGPT to come up with a character that's a mashup of all those successful characters, scattered on a base of Luke Skywalker. And there you have it, a nonsensical Searcher Clade pizza. Yummy. This is one of the main things that led me to the possibility that they could be using AI to write their films seemed increasingly less odd the deeper I dove. Disney's no stranger to AI. In fact, they've been dabbling with it since 2009, when we were still using BlackBerrys and playing Farmville. Their innovative use of AI spans several technologies, from de-aging actors to designing marketing material. But the most impressive evidence of what they're able to accomplish with AI is at Disney's theme parks. The Stuntronics project features robots performing complex aerial stunts, bringing characters like Spider-Man to life with dynamic realism, while AI-powered characters such as Groot interact with visitors in lifelike responsive ways. Then there's Disney's revolutionary holotile floor, which enables limitless movement in virtual environments, revolutionizing VR experiences and live performances. It's utter madness. And get this, at Disney Research Studios, they also use AI to analyze audience emotions in real time, refining their content based on these insights. This is not science fiction. This is all happening right now. In addition to all of this, they've also been caught using generative AI to help create trailers and movie posters, like the promotional materials for the second season of Loki. So pray tell, if they're already using AI on all of these fronts, why not in the writing department as well? The confusion that often happens when human and artificial creativity collide and struggle for dominance seem to manifest in the divided reviews of the audience. Like this 10-year-old wanting to leave after 10 minutes. This person loving it and think everyone that hates it is problematic in some way. And this dude that found the film problematic and nearly lost his marbles due to the level of unwarranted wokeness. See what I mean? Strange World is really an enigma, a probably well-meaning amalgamation of messages, but filled to the brim with triggers and preachy undertones, like a human with a lot to say, but no social skills. If you've ever used ChatGPT to explain an important issue to you, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the film had some good things going for it, especially the musical score by the talented human Henry Jackman and everyone's favorite character Splat, origin unknown. My issue with this movie is that if you criticize it, you're automatically labeled as homophobic because there's a gay character. Even if you have no issue whatsoever with LGBTQ+ characters in Disney movies, the presence of this woke wall means that the actual issues with Disney's alleged use of AI to write their movies and the associated ethical concerns get ignored. Well, I'm done ignoring. But before I can give you my reasons to think AI has been used in the creation of Strange World, I first need to identify what worked and what didn't. Many believe that Strange World was a Disney experiment gone wrong. So wrong that even the merchandise didn't take off. Firstly, the movie's plot is like a puzzle made from pieces of other puzzles, with many missing parts. There are numerous logical inconsistencies, particularly regarding the nature of Pando and the ecosystem of the giant turtle, which the film glosses over and refuses to explain. Perhaps they kept those revelations for a sequel, or more likely, the world building just doesn't go that deep. Even though Disney tried their best, the visual elements of the film were just fine.
Like, our animators are the best in the world.
Don't get me wrong, the animation in Strange World is still top-notch, with vibrant colors and textures bringing the fantastical world to life, but it feels like Disney is playing it safe. Or maybe it's just that great animation needs a compelling story and characters. Without the fairy, Pinocchio is just a wooden doll, if you catch my drift. Even when voiced by an incredible cast, including Jake Gyllenhaal and Lucy Liu, the characters did not bring the wow factor or tie the loose plot threads together. They could only do so much with characters that are described as bland, forgettable, and robotically stereotypical, only there to push preachy themes and messages that no 10-year-old would understand. Strange World attempts to weave multiple themes, including environmentalism and family dynamics, into its narrative, but falters due to awkward and politically driven writing.
The worlds of Strange World and our world, they connect because there are a lot of very important resources that we have to protect. And it takes the whole community coming together to center our collective needs. And that's the only way we're gonna make it through Strange World or our world.
But some of the audience saw it differently. And the story feels disjointed, with Ethan Clade's gay storyline seeming shoehorned and tokenistic, rather than thoughtfully incorporated and openly addressed. Audience reviews on Rotten Tomatoes criticized it as woke, and parental concerns about its appropriateness for children surfaced. Not for the first time, theories arose suggesting Disney self-sabotaged their own film, such as with Treasure Planet and Atlantis: The Lost Empire. In some way, those Rotten Tomatoes critics agree with this. Worded politically correctly, Strange World is a Disney milestone in terms of representation. But as a storytelling experience, this dazzlingly animated adventure offers little audiences haven't already seen. The storytelling experience that is lacking could be attributed to having left too much of the creative work up to artificial intelligence. If we were to enter past successful formulas into an AI model, ask them to take some key elements and create a new story, couldn't it be that the new story would be something that isn't really new to any audience? If you think it's a far-fetched idea that Disney might be using AI to write their stories, brace yourself, because you're about to have your worldview rocked. They would actually be stupid not to use AI, if you ask me.
What?
Because the day-to-day benefits are immense. Creative experimentation. AI can assist in exploring creative ideas and storylines that human writers might overlook, with a focus on bringing something fresh to the table. Task automation. AI can automate repetitive and time-consuming tasks in the writing process, such as editing, proofreading, and generating dialogue. Consistency and quality control. By analyzing successful past scripts, AI can ensure new scripts adhere to a proven formula, potentially improving overall quality. Emphasis on potentially, because what it's actually doing is just rehashing old ideas. Just imagine an employee that knows all the past successful movie scripts in and out, and even the worst movie scripts and why they failed. That's what AI could be as a writer. AI can streamline the writing process, generating scripts faster than traditional methods. And lastly, but surely most important to Disney, cost reduction. AI can significantly reduce the costs associated with human writers, especially during periods of financial strain like the aftermath of COVID-19, which is also the period during which Strange World was created. We see Disney cut costs everywhere, laying off hundreds of employees, just like we see Disney World prices rise astronomically while its stock is down over 36% over the past 5 years. Keeping that in mind, it wouldn't be a really bad idea to implement the use of AI for writing or inspiration for writing movies. Like Jordan Peterson says,
"The bigger the toy, the smarter you better be to use it."
but is that what Disney's doing? Are they smart about it? No, most definitely not. Want to see a smoking gun? Here's one. The most recent Writers Guild of America strike occurred mere months after the release of Strange World. One of their major concerns? AI taking their jobs. The robotic tentacles of AI have likely slithered into many movies we're not even aware of. But in Strange World, there are some signs.
Science.
The main problems with AI as writers that I haven't covered yet are: 1. They only recycle old ideas and repackage them as new ones. 2. They're constantly on acid. Yeah, AI hallucinates, dude. It's a thing. AI hallucination occurs when AI generates information that appears to be plausible but is entirely fabricated. This happens because AI models rely on patterns in the data they were trained on and can sometimes create false or misleading content when trying to fill gaps or make connections.
You have these
large language models, chatbots that sort of sound like people, but they make a lot of dumb mistakes. They hallucinate things, they make things up.
Strange World is practically littered with the six-toed footprints of AI hallucinations, from clues that can be mistaken for lazy writing to problematic training of AI to be woke AF. Firstly, the film's eco-crisis message is overly explicit, lacking the subtlety seen in WALL-E and Avatar. WALL-E uses a story of a lone robot on a trashed Earth to subtly explore themes of consumerism and environmental neglect, while Avatar weaves its message into the rich world building and the Na'vi's connection to their ecosystem. In contrast, Strange World directly states that Pando is harmful and must be destroyed, leaving little room for interpretation or deeper engagement. This heavy-handed approach hints at AI's struggle with delivering complex themes with nuance and sophistication. The storyline relies on familiar tropes, such as the absent father as seen in Finding Nemo, The Lion King, and Frozen, the reluctant hero in Moana, Hercules, and Aladdin, and the dire mission to save the world in Big Hero 6, Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and Zootopia. And guess what? What you think is going to happen happens every time when you and the AI have read the same books and seen the same movies. The only thing that might probably be surprising to some is the unexpected gigantic turtle that kinda comes out of nowhere at the end. Which is stolen from a series of books, by the way, which I'll reveal soon. But I guess that's what happens when you ask AI to add a surprising twist. Allegedly. But what irks me the most, and what sparked the idea of the use of AI, is also one of the biggest parts of any film. The dialogue in Strange World is filled with tired lines that contribute to its overall predictability. For example, the interactions between Searcher Clade and his father Jaeger are filled with overused tropes. Lines like, "You just assume I'll follow in your footsteps, but you never asked me what I wanted," and "You don't know what you want," reflect the typical strained father-son dynamic seen in countless films. Similarly, the banter between characters often resorts to stereotypical and uninspired humor, such as Ethan's disgust at his parents kissing or the cliched realization that this place is alive. It might not have been AI, just really bad writers or directors leaving no room for new ideas from the writers. But still, something looks fishy. Look, if AI can hook me with realistic characters and unpredictable stories, then I'm here for it. I'm not robophobic. Some of my best friends are robots. But what I find problematic is the AI's unrelenting urge to be as ethical as possible. Basically, AI is being trained by God knows who to be more woke than a vegan at a vape store. This aligns perfectly with all these themes like diversity and environmentalism being unnecessarily forced into films like Strange World, with no real follow-through. They're just there to check the AI's boxes. But what does Disney have to say about all of this? Although Disney isn't candid about their use of AI in their writing, they are open about their influences for Strange World.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously. Journey to the Center of the Earth is another one. The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
And I think they're forgetting one thing, the giant turtle that's shamelessly plagiarized from the late Sir Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. Yeah, Disney, don't think we didn't notice. But is it really plagiarism if AI generated the idea? No need to answer now. Just let that sink in. I want to do an experiment though. Let's feed ChatGPT some of the elements of Strange World and see if it comes up with something better, worse, or very much the same. I'll use this prompt. Create a concise, summarized, 3-act outline for a story on a fantastical world with an energy crisis, a possible solution, an arduous journey, no actual villain, a strained father and son relationship, a gay character, and incorporate themes and images from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and The Lost World. Reveal a twist at the end which asks an ethical question. And here's what it came up with. Act 1. The energy crisis and discovery in a fantastical world facing an energy crisis. A strained father and son discover a map to a hidden energy source within the Earth's core. They form a team, including a gay cartographer, and embark on a perilous journey inspired by Raiders of the Lost Ark, leaving their conflict-ridden home. Act 2. The arduous journey navigating landscapes reminiscent of Journey to the Center of the Earth and The Lost World. The team encounters strange creatures and natural wonders. The father and son's relationship is tested and slowly mended, while the cartographer becomes an essential team member, fostering unity and collaboration. Act 3. The ethical dilemma and twist reaching the hidden energy source. They find it's connected to an ancient sentient ecosystem. Extracting the energy would destroy the civilization. They choose to protect the ecosystem and strengthening the father-son bond and highlighting themes of sacrifice and empathy. What do you think? Is this better or worse than the real Strange World story? Can you see the similarities? I really want Strange World to be 100% human-made, but at the same time, I hope Disney could realize its lackluster storytelling that could be influenced by the use of AI. Because, frankly, it sucks, and that would mean we as humans are still better at writing than robots.
How do we find meaning in life if the AI could do your job better than you can?
Preach, Elon.